Now we're going to go through the first of our series. The first series that we're going to have a look at is our fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders and neck. We're going to make these joints more mobile and we're going to make them more stable. So let's start. I have with me two models. One model is a web designer and spends much of her time sitting in front of a computer. My second model is an ex-farmer who's had a hip replacement. So here's a body that has had mobility but obviously has had restrictions in the past. So we're going to see how these models do going through the series 1 of the Daily Spine Fit. So our first exercise is that we're going to exercise our fingers. Now it's rare that we see fingers being exercised in fitness programs, but we've included them in the Daily Spine Fit so we can take pressure off the wrists where we do tend to get a lot more problems. So I'm going to ask my models to start with the finger exercises. We start with our fingers at our chest and we're going to push out as far as we can just for a second, and then we come in, and then we push out just for a second, and then we come in. So you guys keep going for 3 more, and as we push out we're going to feel this tension at the front of the hands, and we can see that tension at the front of the hands, and we can also get a sense that our elbows are being worked at the same time. Now that we've worked our elbows, we're going to go to the second series where we're going to take our wrists and we're going to flex it down and make a fist. We then use the other hand and we just pull that fist closer to our elbow, and what we should feel is a lot of tension at the front, or on the top I should say, of our forearms. Now can you guys feel that tension? Yes. Great. And we hold that for 5 breaths. We then, on the same hand, are going to go into extension, where we're going to open up the fingers and pull those fingers back to the elbow, and we will feel that on the underside. Now this is greatly going to help those elbows stay healthy, particularly when we're using our wrists a lot in the garden or building decks or in manual type jobs. Okay, how are you guys going? Let's go to the other side. Good, just underneath, good. And then bring them up. And that's great. Now we're going to move into the next series where we're going to take our hands and we're going to push them together. Now what I want you to do is push those quite firmly, if you guys could do that. And what you should find when you do this exercise is that you're working the trapezius muscles. Sarah, just have yours out in front just a wee bit. That's great, that's great. And what you're doing is just starting to warm up those shoulders actually, and also giving those wrists a little bit more strength. So this is the stability of the wrists. Once we've done that, we're going to go into a clasp. If we can go into a clasp, we're going to pull our elbows away from each other and we're going to start swimming. So we're going to swim forward. That's great, you guys keep going. And as we swim forward, we're looking to make as big a circle as we can with our shoulders. Good, good. Can you get that left shoulder a little bit more? So that's better, that's good. And then we're going to keep the pressure pulling apart and we're going to go back for 5. And what you should find is that you really are finding those shoulders are starting to get a nice little workout, but they're not doing it just by being flung around. They've got a little bit of tension in them at the same time. That's excellent. Well done. Thank you. Have a little rest. Roll the shoulders. And now we're going to move into the shoulders a little bit more. The next exercise, and we've only got 3 to go and this series will be finished, is that we're going to start doing big train wheels with our arms. And what you can see when we do this is we get a lot of movement in our shoulder blades. So if I can have you guys doing some big train wheels for me. Good. Good, you can see how these shoulders are moving. You see it easier on Sarah, see these lovely movements through the shoulders. We're actually engaging the neck muscles as we do this as well. Let's go back the other way. Good. Good, how are you guys finding that? Easy enough? Good. Good. Okay, Pete, I'm going to ask you to turn and face the couch. Okay, just have a rest, Sarah. Pete, can you do those movements again? As Pete does these movements, you can really see these shoulder blades moving. That's the feeling that you should get, is that these shoulder blades are getting nicely warmed up. Pete, you stay facing that way. Sarah, I'm going to get you to face the camera and have your arms out. And just, yeah, Pete, you can stop doing that. That's great. Now we're going to move into the next exercise where we're going to have our arms out. And we're going to have our arms out with our thumbs facing forward. If you can have their arms out facing forward. And just some additional features to the shoulder circles with the squeeze of the shoulder blades. Pete, if you could squeeze those shoulder blades for me, just make sure the arms don't get behind you here when you do the squeeze of the shoulder blades. The shoulder, that is not a strong position for the shoulder to be in, and it's an unnatural one as well. So what we want to do is just make sure we're in front of the midline, even just come forward a little bit, Pete, that's fine. And that just means you don't quite have the flexibility in the front. That's fine for now, but if we get good stability in the back here as we do that, that'll be great. Just do little circles for me. That's good. Now do medium circles. Good. And large circles. Excellent work, you guys. Come back the other way. Now, I haven't told these guys this, but this takes a fair bit of effort to do this, especially if you haven't done it before. And by the way, these guys don't know what they were in for before they turned up today. That's the sort of friends that you need to have when you're making videos. Okay, and once we come back to middle, keep your hands up for me. Now I'd like you to have the thumbs facing the ceiling, and then what we're going to do is little circles again, but this time we're going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. As we squeeze the shoulder blades together, you should feel the chest just open up through the front, and keeping that position, I'm going to ask you to do those little circles again. Now what we're doing here is a fantastic stability movement. We all know that when we do crunches, which we'll be doing later on in our series, is good core stability for our lower half, but for our upper half, the stability comes from there. So we go medium and large, and then back the other way. Make sure you don't pop Sarah in the face there, Pete. So what we're doing is we're really working this area. Now, if you guys get to the end of that one, that's great. Then the third and final one, no, but the other way, Pete, all the way, thumbs behind, Sarah, thumbs behind. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Again, we see the chest open up, we see the shoulder blades together, and last set, little circles, then medium circles. And I'd like you to be able to do about 5 circles each time. And what you'll notice is that you really are working what's going on in between the shoulder blades. And what will happen is that those shoulder blades will lift your posture and allow you to open up those shoulders. This is a wonderful exercise for stability for the shoulders and the neck. Great. You guys just put your hands down once you're finished. Well done. Have a little break. Pete, you can come and face the camera again. This is our last exercise for the first series, and what we're going to do with this exercise is that we're simply going to make sure we keep ourselves nice and stable with our feet shoulder width apart, our chins horizontal. We're going to look over to the shoulder, and then we're going to tuck our chin down the nose, tuck our chin to our collarbone by following our nose and chin line. So we turn and we tuck and we hold that for 3 breaths. And you should feel that on the opposite side when you do that. And then come up after your 3 breaths, turn to the other side, and then tuck down. And that's perfect, you guys. Hold that for a few breaths. Now what may happen is you may feel some clicks and clacks being released from the neck. That is perfect. That is just releasing the tension from those neck muscles and from those joints.